What's up? Welcome back to Ground Zero Salem. It's Pat. So right now, I'm going to get into some cassettes I just scored of the bootleg variety. As a soundtrack to that, I'm playing this Cataclysmic Events. The reason I'm doing so is that the good people over at Caligari Records are having a sale for the remainder of the day. It's 27% off. I'm not getting anything out of this back. I just really like that label. As you probably know, I've done several updates where I talk about their stuff. So I thought I'd throw this on, point you in that direction. I think it's through midnight tonight. So if you want to score some stuff real cheap, there's cassettes for as little as like 50 cents up there. A lot of cool hidden gems, hard to find stuff, obscure demos and whatnot. Cataclysmic Events is a Swedish, I wouldn't say they're straight up pure death rock, but it's certainly influenced by a lot of that stuff, as I'm sure you can hear. It's very ballsy. Vocals are kind of in that whole Andrew Eldritch, Fields of the Nephilim kind of camp. Cool stuff. If you like what you hear in the background, maybe cruise over there and check it out. Another recent release from them from this year is this Orga tape. Really destructive, punkish black metal, very raw and scrappy, also very catchy. And sometimes it reminds me of Villains, who I've talked about before on the channel, who I really liked, like kind of punkish, street level, sleazy black metal stuff. The Septure is also really good. This is just kind of like crawling traditional doom, sort of epic. That's great. This Grimly Forming demo is also really good, sort of crusty hardcore punk with a little bit more of a metal bent in the roughness of the vocals. All really good tapes. I'm not sure about the Septure and the Grimly Forming. I got those a few months ago. I got a whole... Last time they had a sale, I bought a shit ton of stuff from Ignacio. But, yeah, I don't know. Check it out. They always have lots of interesting stuff up there on cassette. Primarily, I think they have some stuff on CD, too. Maybe some vinyl. So, with that out of the way, a week ago, I went down to Hanson, Mass. I went to my good buddy Jason Hook's Fleamarket, the Common Ground Fleamarket. Jason's another YouTube guy. He talks primarily about hardcore and punk stuff, although not exclusively. Very entertaining guy to watch, very knowledgeable if you want to check out his stuff. But he had been planning this this flea market for a while. It was a big labor of love. It looked like it was a pretty big success. I was there for a couple of hours and left kind of early. As I left, a lot of people were showing up. There were 2 or 3 or 4, I think 4 at its apex. Different tables selling music stuff, physical media, a lot of LPs, some bootleg tapes, which is what I'm going to get into, and some other stuff. But then there was also a lot of crafts, a lot of interesting, there's like a t-shirt stand and a lot of stuff like that, some odds and ends. It seemed like it went over really well. A lot of people came out and supported it, so that was good to go to and check out. Long drive for me, you know, on the other side of Boston. It's a good hour and a half, but it was definitely worth it. It was nice cruising down there on a Saturday in my new whip, checking it out. So I bought a bunch of bootleg cassettes. Now, bootleg cassettes used to be a big deal in my life. I remember the first time I tracked down a bootleg version of the No Life Till Leather demo by Metallica, which was a legendary thing at my local record store at the time back home in Syracuse, Oliver's Records. I also remember how Oliver's got, I don't want to say raided, but investigated a few times for selling bootleg cassettes. I remember people who I knew who worked there telling me about that and thinking that was crazy why anybody cared, but presumably it was some sort of federal entity that came and checked them out, but they had to hide them, and they had a lot of them. And I got some good ones over the years. I got a Sisters of Mercy bootleg, which I still have. I think I played it in the background on an update. I don't remember which one, a while back. So bootleg cassettes are cool to have. I mean, clearly there's something that there's not really much of a need for anymore now that everything's been uploaded to the internet. But if you look and you end up scoring some of these, I mean, I know that the first one I'm going to talk about, one of these sets is up on YouTube, but I know some of these probably aren't. Any ones that I can find links to on the internet, I'll put up, but definitely cool to get. So I've kind of arranged them in quality. The first one I got, the first bootleg, is this 1990 2 sets from June in Houston, Texas, from Morbid Angel. This is almost better than soundboard quality to me. It sounds incredible. One of these sets is up online. I'll put a link. You can check it out for yourself. It looks like it's shot really well. If it's shot with a camcorder, it's shot with a really nice one. So check that out. I haven't watched the whole video all the way through myself yet. I need to do that. But it's primo era, Altars of Madness stuff. Everything sounds great in the mix. The playing is spot on, perfectly tight. The mix is perfect. And they do Dead Shall Rise by Terrorizer in both sets. You can see that there, I don't know. And make it very Morbid Angel. I mean, 2 members obviously played on the full length from this band. But it sounds, you know, like a Morbid Angel song. It sounds really good. They kind of make the main riff sound kind of eerie, which is really cool. But this is an excellent, excellent sounding release. They do Thy Kingdom Come and announce it as a demo song. It's really, really a great listen. Then we have this Mosh of the SOD. This is a soundboard recording from SOD in New Jersey. Just pretty much everything on the full length on Speak English or Die. There's no surprises except for Ram It Up, which is a cover by German band Inferno, punk band. Pretty funny stage banter. They managed to keep it light. You know, there's nothing crazy that they're saying really, but I think at one point Billy says something along the lines of like, yeah, if you're gonna mosh like me, take it easy out there, keep it mellow when you do the Milano mosh. Real chill like. And then there's a pretty cool interview on the other side from a radio set, presumably around the same time, talking about plans to start up Method of Destruction and what Anthrax was doing next and that kind of thing. Pretty goofy, fun listen. Then I have a boot of the Sodom demos, Witching Metal and Victims of Death. It says 84 and 83. I think Witching Metal was actually 82, but correct me if I'm wrong. And they sound like a direct dub of the demos. You know, very raw, primal Venom, heavily influenced by Venom and early speed metal stuff, as you probably know. What's kind of cool is, you know, I've been lately getting into like some early Italian hardcore, which I'll talk about soon, and some Japanese stuff and noisier, more feedback-drenched, damage-sounding kind of shit. And this kind of goes right along with that kind of sound for me. I really like this stuff. I've listened to this stuff plenty over the years, but often like the fidelity made it hard for it to click with me, and now it's finally clicking. So early Sodom stuff, really cool. 1982 Merciful Fate recording. This is awesome. This is from Holland. I'm sorry, 1983, excuse me. But I'll read you the track listing. Doomed by the Living Dead, Black Masses, Curse of the Pharaohs, Evil, The Oath, Into the Coven, Lord's Prayer, Corpse Without a Soul, and Nightmare. Decent sounding. The guitars are a little buried. As you would expect, King Diamond's vocals are piercing and cut through everything like a scythe. It sounds great. And then on the other side, there's a bunch of really early recordings, which I don't even know what they are. I don't go too far back with Merciful Fate with my knowledge of stuff. There's some stuff that sounds like reworked Bratz stuff, maybe, or maybe it is the Bratz. And then there's a really, 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 really early live recording with some good stage banter as well, with King saying, if you're not into getting heavy, get out, or something along those lines. Aaron just talked about his Merciful Fate collection. He mentioned a few boots with really early stuff, and maybe this is the same shit. I'm not sure. But this came on. You can tell these are old bootlegs because of the old manufacturer there. Old quality. They don't make tapes like this anymore. They barely make tapes at all anymore. But I love these old black, solid black tapes with the stickers and stuff. Kind of a nerdy thing. Whatever. And then this has got a bunch of stuff on it. Possessed at Ruthie's Inn in San Francisco. Legendary venue. A lot of legendary venues on these, which is cool. The SODs at City Gardens. And a few more of these are at some well-known places, which I'll get into. But yeah, Ruthie's Inn, Possessed, 85. Sounds pretty good when it's not in between songs or there aren't quiet parts. But there's parts where it drops out and there's silence, and you can clearly tell that at some point this set was dubbed over Anthrax Among the Living, because you can hear the riffs come through and it's kind of distracting. But they sound awesome, and it's total, you know, classic Bay Area kind of stage banter where they're calling for it to kill posers and bang the head that doesn't bang and that kind of shit. And then there's a Slayer demo. I'm not sure if it's a practice recording or on a 4-track. It sounds really good. Early era stuff. Captor of Sin, The Antichrist, Tormentor, and Cryonics. The drums sound really awesome and like just warm and kind of organic and pounding. The double bass sounds really, really cool. Stripped down and great. So if you like Show No Mercy stuff, you would like this if you could find it. On the other side, we've got Creator doing a live set in Berlin, Germany in 1988. I'm presuming that's West Berlin. And the track listing on this is just all hits as well. You got Toxic Trace, Terrible Certainty, Flag of Hate, A Mercifully Short Drum Solo, Pleasure to Kill, No Escape, One of Us, Riot of Violence, Behind the Mirror, Awakening of the Gods, and Ripping Corpse. This also sounds like it must be a from the board recording because it sounds really, really excellent. Very happy to have that. Most of these just have like printed out covers. A few of them, like the Merciful Fate, somebody made a handmade cover. I kind of wish somebody had reproduced the demo cover for this, but they didn't. This is just the Forbidden Evil demo, the one from 1987. I've never been much of a Forbidden fan of their studio output, of their albums. I had a lot of friends that were into Twisted Into Form and stuff when I was in high school. I never really got into them. There's always time, I suppose. You know, I'm picky about the Bay Area stuff for sure. But this demo rips. It's just killer thrash metal with some good piercing, kind of operatic sort of vocals. We got Chalice of Blood, Follow Me, March into the Fire. Falsetto vocals, I meant to say, not operatic, but whatever. High-pitched metal vocals. There's a fourth song. I looked it up. There's a fourth song on this that I can't remember that isn't credited on this, but again, you got that. You can tell it's been dubbed a bunch of times, but it's kind of cool. It kind of adds something to the rawness of it. I wouldn't mind picking up maybe a demos collection or finding something, a boot on CD that's better quality of this Forbidden Evil stuff. It's quite good. Staying in the Bay Area, we've got this two Exodus sets here, 2 cassettes. One is with Bailoff, and that's at the Stone, San Francisco, legendary venue. Fucking great Paul Bailoff era stuff. Sound quality's fair, you know, if you want to go from like 1 being unlistenable to 10 being like a well done but raw live recording like Decade of Aggression by Slayer in there, I'd say this is probably at like a 6. You know, it's in the crowd recording. You can hear people talking over it, but everything's pretty clear. All the guitars and everything are, the drums, the vocals are pretty up front, which is good. But great stuff. After, you know, being very familiar with, of course, the Ultimate Revenge shit, where Paul Bailoff is going off and giving up some of the best frontman style stage banter, frontman maniac style stage banter. This was a little bit disappointing, although it's pretty great because he dedicates the song to the Road Warriors, the tag team, who we know I love. So that's cool. What's kind of interesting is the next up is this Exodus 1986. This is recorded at L'Amour, and this is with Steve Zetro Souza right after he joined. It's before Pleasures of the Flesh came out, and this sounds a bit better. The recording quality is probably bumped up to like a 7 or so. And you could tell he had something to prove because he's going off. I've never been that big of a fan of Sousa's records. I like Pleasures of the Flesh. I don't really care for much past that. But he's completely losing his mind between songs, telling New Yorkers how he heard that they were sick, and they proved him right by being totally sick, and screaming and saying they're a bunch of animals. Very energetic, and an excellent performance. It's more stuff from Bonded by Blood than Pleasures of the Flesh, but there's a good 3 or 4 songs from Pleasures of the Flesh on it. Fucking great. Fun listen. And then I have these 2 Overkill tapes. I need to spend a little bit more time with them, but they were the most disappointing of the bunch, unfortunately. We have a live set from L'Amour and a live set from Irvine Plaza, I think. Yeah, Irving Plaza. Yeah, I love this era of Overkill. You know, Feel the Fire is a classic, all-time favorite, all-day vape for me. But unfortunately, I don't know exactly if it was just the guy had a shitty handheld recorder or was standing way in the back, but you can hear Bobby Blitz incredibly well, and he sounds awesome, but it sounds like he's singing over a washing machine. You can barely tell what's going on with the music, which is unfortunate because they made these cool covers, you know. Blood Metal Donors, which is their little made-up genre they went by in the beginning there, blood metal. This old school Sony cassette there. Nice track listing. And then the other one, kind of the same deal. With this cool, you know, murky sort of photocopied many times, classic bootleg looking kind of cover, J-card. Yeah, it's too bad, you know. Who knows? I need to give this a little bit more time and listen to more than a song or two, because sometimes the audio quality on these, I've noticed, really increases when the guy moves into a new spot, or you know, the wow and flutter kind of wears past when the mechanism pulling the spool kind of gets going a little bit. Sometimes they just fix the mix at the actual show, but these sound like crap to me right now. So that's it for now. I got other stuff at the flea market, but I don't want to make videos that are too long. If I made one video talking about everything I got, I'd be making a 45 or 50 minute video. So I'm gonna leave it at that for now. Probably gonna make another one right after this. I got some lovely Nintendo cartridges, so I'm gonna do another one of those updates. Those seem to go over like a fart in church, so I'm looking forward to that. And I'll see you guys soon. Support Caligari. Check out that sale. See ya.